We good on TV back there? All right, good deal. Thank y'all for being here. Appreciate the sellout crowd. Thought they were loud. They hung in there when it was ugly, and I tried to give them fair warning. But they hung in there when it was ugly at times, and I appreciate that. Quality win over a really good JMU team. I felt like that on film, watching their personnel. I knew they'd be well coached, watching E-line over the last couple years, and they were. They're a veteran group. This atmosphere was not too big for them. I think that our depth in the second half wore on them, especially our D-line versus their offensive line. I thought that was probably the biggest difference in the second half. We talked about this early in the week on Tuesday, and I think I said it multiple times as we went through the week, is these opening games, you just never know. You know, it's so hard. I watched games on Thursday, games on Friday. I saw a little bit of games this morning before we went out for warm-ups, and they're all over the place. They're penalties, they're turnovers, those type of things. And our game wasn't any different. You know, you go out there in live fire, especially with guys that haven't played a lot of football, and some of it's to be expected. I was really proud of this group and how we reacted at halftime. We didn't panic, and that's your concern when the first half goes like it did, especially offensively, is that guys hit the panic button. They didn't do that. We came out. I thought we took control of the game. Even though we had to win it right at the end, I thought we took control of the game really from the first drive offensively in the second half on throughout. And back to my main point is it came down to turnovers and special teams. You can say what you want. The offense wasn't pretty, okay, and struggled to run the ball. Knew we did, and we've struggled to run it in scrimmages as well. But at the end of the day, we didn't turn it over. And on special teams, we had a blocked field goal, which was huge. Completely changes the type of game we were in at that time. We were 2 of 3 on field goals. The one he missed, he hit well, and I thought we covered well. We recovered a punt, a fumbled punt return, with the exception of one kickoff return. We covered kicks well, punts and kicks. And I thought turnovers and special teams were the difference. Defensively, we gave up. We allowed them to run the ball on us in the first half. But if you look at it, 6 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, 3 takeaways. We talk about we want to create negative plays, and we were able to do that in this game. There's definitely things we got to clean up. But I thought our D-line, again, I'll say it again, I thought we controlled the line of scrimmage the second half. And then offensively, really the story of it is I thought we threw the ball at times pretty well. Our pass protection was solid outside of 2 hits. We didn't catch the ball very well, and we struggled to get a run game going. So moving forward, it's not always pretty. Winning's hard. I knew it would be, but we'll take it. We're glad to be 1-0. So with that, I'll open up for questions.
The second half, when you guys started to turn up the defense, anything different, or just started to get home better? What started going?
Yeah, we tightened our coverage up. We played a lot more man coverage as far as tighter coverage. We used some press in the second half, and a lot of our movements hit home. It's a game of inches. You know this. You've been watching it for a long time. It's a game of inches, and we came out early and we were wide. They kept cutting runs back, and the quarterback was moving up in the pocket and scrambled on us a couple times. So what we did is we tightened our movements down. We were able to shed blocks better and made a bunch of plays.
Passes more than you're liking. You go in thinking you're going to have to throw against these guys?
No, I knew we were going to have to throw. That's probably about where I thought, John. I thought we'd run more plays. I thought we'd run more plays. We didn't run very many plays. Some of that's from third down struggles. Some of that's from drop passes. But I thought we'd be anywhere from 40 to 50. I think that's kind of who we are right now. We've got to do some things in the run game. We didn't do a whole lot of what I call dressing up run plays today. We will. You get into a first game, you can't show everything that you got. We had some things that if we needed to in the second half, we could have got to, but we didn't get to those. But we do. We're going to play a front next week in Missouri. I watched quite a bit this summer. James Madison's really good. Those 2 DNs are good players, but it's a different animal next week.
Sam comes out after I think a false start, and Campbell goes in and puts you ahead in the third quarter with that catch.
Yeah, and he's done that. And it was really a play that that Austin checked to, so I think that speaks to him being locked in. He studied. He was prepared this week. He played okay for him. I think he'll play a lot better moving forward. Just some nerves that go along with the first start, but that was a check on that, and George executed it. We got behind him. We missed a bunch of go balls. We wanted to come in and throw anywhere from 6 to 8. I think we were pretty close to that. We only hit one. You got to be a little better percentage than that. But George Campbell was a great take for us. And I told you all the other day, I thought he would have been a great take even if he didn't catch that touchdown, because he's been a great special teams player and he's been a great teammate, and he's made a difference in that room.
Say the same thing for Reuben Jones.
Reuben Jones was active. He's active, and that was the thing that Donnie Brown, who I worked for at one point, who's a defense coordinator at Michigan, that's what he said. He said he's going to play hard and he's active and he's a good kid. When we were thinking about taking him here, and he's came and he's really active. He efforted himself to a couple hits on the quarterback. I didn't look. Did he get a sack today? Yeah, and he's relentless. He plays that way. I think it's contagious. Even when we were getting hurt in the run game, his energy on the sideline really kept those guys in the game.
Speaking about contagious, I suspect you're very happy to have both the Stills brothers on your team.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Darius and Dante have had really good fall camps. Okay, they really have. And they're starting to take care of their bodies better. They're starting to understand nutrition and all the things that go into it. And they have a chance. The change in defensive schemes was probably as good for Darius Stills as anybody in our program, because what we're doing now really allows him to showcase his talent. And then Dante when you get him one-on-one, it's hard to rush the passer from an interior spot, but he has the ability to do that. And he got one-on-one with guards a couple times and really made a difference.
Was the thought process in the fourth quarter to try to play to your defensive line, particularly when you get up by 10, that one of the strengths of your team?
Yeah, well, we tried to put it away. We had two different chances. We had the go ball. We should have made a play on. That would have made it 27-10 at the time. I was trying not to put the defense back out there. If we catch the ball, we don't have to put them back out there at the end of the game. But what we did is we got up in the receiver's face, not necessarily on the last drive, but we got up in the receiver's face so they couldn't play pitch and catch like they did in the first half some. And when you do that, it clouds it up for the quarterback, and we were able to get some pressure.
You talked about things that made a difference in the game. Where does Devin Bush fit in there?
Well, I think the first play of the second half was as big a play there was in the game. Okay, and he stayed in bounds, and we've got to figure out a way to get him the ball more. He didn't have enough touches. We called probably 10 to 12 plays for him, but I think he had in that 4 to 5 touch range. But he's electric. We've got to get him more consistent. But I thought that play was as big a play as we had in the football game.
Fair to say Josh Chandler, for today at least, lived up to the hype?
He had a bunch of tackles. I think he's got to play better. Some of those runs, he's got to get to the ball in the first half faster. Some of those were cutback plays that really should have been his hits, and he was tackling for 6 or 8. We'd like to tackle in that 2 to 4 range. But he's a good player. He's a good player, and he's only going to continue to get better. He played some last year, but he wasn't like he was a starter. So this was his first game starting, and I thought he handled it well.
Overall, how would you say Austin did?
I think that you look back on it, he won the game. I thought he handled the end of the game situations really well in the 4-minute. And he was accurate at times. I think he missed some underneath throws in the first half. I think he got frustrated there late in the first half, so he can play better. I thought in the second half he did a good job. He checked some plays, and I thought he threw the ball better. We got to get better at the deep ball. I think that's where he's got. Some of that's because he was so amped up, he overthrew it. I think we overthrew 5 go balls. Y'all probably cross-check me and figure out if that's right, but at least 4, maybe 5.
What do you think it's going to take to get the running game and Kennedy McCoy rolling in the coming weeks?
Well, we got to block better. We've got to be creative and create space. We've got some guys up there that are playing new roles. They're playing different spots. If you're losing one-on-one blocks, it's hard to run the ball. So we've got to get better. I knew we were going to struggle at times. I didn't think we'd struggle to the tune of whatever it was, 34 yards. I mean, that's not very good. If somebody writes that down, that's pretty. That goes without saying, right? You got to try. You got to scribe that one. So now we've got to do better. We got to block better. We got to get in some sets and do some things that that hide us a little better probably also.
Your last call on that third down play, just something you saw, and like you said, we're trying to finish it there.
Yeah, you know what they're going to do, Mike. So the corner was playing press bail. He's bailing out of there. It was right in front of my face. We practiced that 4-minute situation a lot. So we got Austin on the edge, and I say, hey, you run the ball and this guy's wide open. And then if you run the ball, you get the first down, take a knee, slide, ball game's over. Tell Sam if you catch the ball, don't go out of bounds. You know, and I think that's actually what he was trying to do. He only dropped 2 balls our whole fall camp. Sam did. So I still trust the kid a lot. I think he's going to be a great player. He made a huge 4th down catch for us. But I think he was worried about staying in bounds and took his eyes off the ball. But thought process in that is you get the first down and you never have to play. You take a knee and honestly that's the way we're going to roll. You know, we took the shot there on the drive before. I think it was 4 minute. They started using their timeouts. So we struggled running the ball. We talked about that enough. And so felt like they were playing. They came up and pressed and trying to get their safeties down the run game. I knew if we took a shot, we could win. We did win, and ball's probably a little too far, and didn't make the play.
You know, a lot of questions about your secondary coming into the season. How do you feel like they did today?
I thought they did well. Yeah, I thought they did well. Next week's going to be the real challenge. You know, James Madison's got some good players. But Missouri's got a tight end that's an All-American candidate. They've got several players. They were one of the best offenses in the country last year. I thought Keith Washington's pick, setting up the touchdown to put us up 10, was a huge play. You know that and Bush's play, in my opinion, probably 2 biggest. I think the blocked field goal was important too, just because it made it a 10-point game. All right, being down 10, I think if my memory is treating me right there, may have been. Is that right, Mike? All right, and so, but I thought they did a nice job. I mean, what did they throw for? 156. We'll take that. You know, it's a good day for those guys.
Okay, you mentioned the guys keeping calm and not panicking when things are going wrong at times. With so many young players, though, and that's got to be kind of surprising, gratifying for you.
It is. I think they take the demeanor of the head coach and the assistant coach, and I'm not saying I'm going to be that calm every game, but I knew coming into it what it was going to be. You know, I didn't know exactly how it was going to go. I'm not rubbing a crystal ball, but I've played games with young people before. It's similar. We're better, so don't take this as we're better. But the first year I was a coordinator back at Kentucky, after we've been really good at Texas Tech for 3 years, we played very similar, like from a youth standpoint. Like we played freshmen, a lot of freshmen at wideout. We played young guys at tight end. We played young guys across the offensive line. Had a really good left tackle then, just like we got a really good left tackle now. So this isn't the first time I've ever gone out and kind of been with a really young group. And so many pieces have to work together offensively. And you can practice as much, but when you go out there and it's loud and everything's amplified, you try, but you really can never actually get that picture in practice. So I think offensively, especially at wideout in some of those new offensive line spots, you'll see a big jump when we line up again next Saturday. Okay, you'll see in the level of play and how much cleaner they play. All right, but I think the team takes on the personality of the people that's working with them, whether it's the head coach, whether it's that position coach. I thought our coaching staff did a really good job, that we communicated well at halftime, making adjustments coming out in the second half. And I don't think anybody ever panicked on the sideline. And I think that the kids took that read and really stayed in it the whole time. So thank y'all. Appreciate it. Have a good night.